I'm not being too aggressive as a manager. Check in with them once in a while to see what's going, what's working. The second thing is you need to get sponsored.
How do you manage them?
I think management is one of my weaknesses, and it's something that I'm actively learning to try to do. This is something that I feel the most challenged with because I never grew up with this whole idea of managing people.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, when I started, with shoes and everything, it was just like a one-man team, just me, and then who would manage most of the operations.
Mm-hmm.
And then I recently, probably like let's say 2022, I actually had my first full-time hire. And then that's when I realized, okay, I could outsource some of the work to people. And then that became to what it is now, where I have like this many employees. But it's always been a challenge for me because a lot of them are around my age, a little bit younger, sometimes a little bit older. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to really try to figure out like what is the proper way to manage, because for me, myself, I don't have any background in management or in corporate. So I have no idea how these things work. So I have to start from scratch. Yeah, I was an engineer, but I was studying engineer, but I never worked as an engineer. So I never had actual work experience outside of just, the regular stuff like being a waiter, blah, blah, blah. But like
Mhm.
corporate wise, I wouldn't know how it works, like 9 to 5, anything like that. I didn't know how it works.
Mhm.
So when we started Kiet, that was my first 9 to 5 hire.
Right.
So that's in itself is a different experience from shoes, because now we're managing employees who work 5 days a week. It becomes a different challenge. It's a whole different perspective when it comes to corporate work.
Mhm.
And I try to find a way where I'm not being too aggressive as a manager. I'm not being too micromanaging as a manager, and try to balance out the enjoyment and the happiness of my team. But that in itself is a bit of a challenge, and it's something I'm still working around. And with the way that I structure it right now is that for each and every single business that I have, I try to have someone who is the manager, or somewhat as a manager who can report all the problems to me.
Mm-hmm.
That way I wouldn't have to go through the process of managing every single business individually. I don't know if that is the most efficient way to structure it, but this is what's working for me right now. So with every single business, there's like one manager each, or
Mhm.
one person who I talk to the most, and then I can check in with them about any ongoing issues. That way there's not an abundance of issues that come just to me to solve directly. If it's something that the manager can solve themselves, they will do so. And if it's something that they cannot solve, then they would come to me. And that's something that I think is working quite well. But I am going to find ways where I can refine that.
Do you so that means you outsource a bit of management and also you lose a bit of control,
Correct.
and it's working.
Correct.
How do you hire a manager?
That's also something that is very tricky, because I try not to just come in and give someone the role to manage unless
Mhm.
they've proven to me that they could manage. And I'm not saying this is the best approach for most businesses. Obviously, I don't have that much skin in the game when it comes to hiring yet, but this is what's working for me so far, is that I have to learn to build trust with someone to be able to get them to become someone who manages. And then I have to kind of reinforce the idea that they're managing and that they have authority, and to kind of check in with them once in a while to see what's working, what's not working, and try to refine everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you find it difficult to run that many businesses?
It is. But if I were to run one, I would have an abundance of time that I don't know what I'd be doing with. So when we started shoes, when I was doing well with shoes and it was just my only thing, I would only probably work 2-3 hours a day and I would be fine. Because at that point I was already outsourcing most of the operations side already. So I got bored. I had a good amount of time that was left over that I didn't know what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that time, that's when I realized, okay, maybe I should start something else, just for fun, just to see what happens, what I can learn from it. Yeah.
Right. Are you a workaholic?
Yes.
You thrive in stress.
Yes.
So here you're gonna have a field day with this question.
Mhm.
What was the most challenging, stressful thing you had to deal with that you can remember?
Most challenging and stressful thing that I had to deal with.
Yes. You're gonna go with
There's a few.
nothing stressed me out.
There's a few. There's a few. There's a few, but I can't say it in here. But like, okay, I'll talk about one of it. I'll talk about one thing. I'll talk about the other. One of the biggest things, one of the biggest challenges that happened to me was during COVID. That was when I was in America.
Mhm.
I was still selling shoes and was doing very well. And then all of a sudden, our logistics side got cut off. So then we couldn't sell anymore for about a month. So that was a point in time where I couldn't get any income because I was also being a waiter at the time, and I couldn't be a waiter because there was lockdowns and people couldn't go out. So couldn't be a waiter, couldn't sell shoes. How was I going to make money? That was one of the most challenging times because at that point you realize like there's no your existing routes to income is shut off completely, and what do you do next? So at that time I started to find other ways where I could make money, and there was because of the shutdown, because of the lockdown, it gave way to different markets and to different opportunities. I don't know if you know, but back then people were reselling Nintendo Switches and PS5s. And that was a time where I was finding ways where I could flip that to make money.
Is it like a big thing there to flip things?
It was. It still is, but I'm saying at the time when things are shut down, when everything is in lockdown, people try to find ways to cope with it, right? And what was interesting at the time was because people were at home, they tried to find ways where they could keep themselves busy and occupied with gaming. And it became a trend where families would want to buy Nintendo Switches and PS5s because they didn't know what to do with their time. So it gave rise to a weird demand of gaming consoles. So if you buy like a Nintendo Switch for retail for like $200, you could flip it the same day for $400.
You double it.
Double. And then with PS5s, it's like you buy it for $500, you can flip it for $900 same day.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Flipping stuff in the US.
Yeah.
How was your time in the US? If you
It was amazing. It was
Really?
amazing. I loved it. Taught me everything I know today. From the schooling side, I think engineering, I mean, I learned a lot of how to calculate, and the way that I think right now is very like engineer-like, because I'm very mathematic when it comes to the way I think. But at the same time, a lot of this like pursuit to like take risks and this idea to like hustle and everything all came from just like trying to find ways to make money in the streets in the US.
In the streets.
Not to say like we grew up in the hood or anything like that, but like most of the ways where we were able to make money was through flipping, whether it was shoes, gaming consoles, swimming pools, whatever the case may be. And that was where we had that drive in us. Yeah, because we learned so much from just understanding hustle culture, streetwear culture, and the way that things work there off grid. It's not something you would learn from a corporate job or anything like that. You really learn how to hustle. You meet all these people who are like hustlers who make like hundreds of thousands of dollars just flipping shoes or flipping whatever they could.
Right.
Yeah, and then you realize like there's so much opportunity out there, and with America, it's such a big market. There's demand for everything, so you could make a good living just by flipping. Yeah.
Is it by force, or you decide to come back?
I decided to come back. Somewhat by force. Technically, I couldn't find a job as an engineer. If I could have found a job, then it would be a different situation. But for me, the odds are against you. The odds are against you when you become an international student and you go to the U.S. because for you to get a job, you have to have some experience in the industry, which legally you cannot find it unless it's part of your curriculum. And then the second thing is you need to get sponsored. And for a company to sponsor you, which it means that they would have to pay more out of pocket to hire someone internationally than they would have to hire someone domestically.
They have to sponsor your visa.
Correct. So imagine if I was just an okay engineer, for someone to hire me, it would not make sense because they'd have to pay more for me to be able to work there compared to just some regular engineer dude who's crazy good and they probably have to pay less for him.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense for people to hire me. And I realized that that was not to my advantage. And at the same time, I was also making good money selling shoes. And I realized there's more opportunity out there for me if I just go back to Cambodia. So I just went back. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.